Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch in the outskirts of the internet. It's the Gaming Saloon Reviews for December 21st, 2025, with your host, please, 248, and ramp it up, Salon.
Hi.
It's our last Gaim thing. Are you excited? It's not the greatest note to end on.
No, not at all. I'm also kind of remembering why I didn't watch these to begin with.
Accurate. I know people are like, oh, that Saber one was really good. And I go, not really. It's about on par with every other Visa we've ever get. Honestly.
Yeah, but Saber, unfortunately, was kind of a snooze fest, so that would make sense that people would think it was good. Anything would have to be better.
But yeah, it is the Gaiden pairs of V cinemas. In this case, it is the Zangetsu and Baron one, and then it is the Duke and Knuckle one. But before we get into that, since Zets is on break for 2 weeks and they've ended the first part of their show, I guess, we could talk about it in relation to our predictions and the like.
And the fact that we're going to have 2 of the yes-nos wrong.
Yes.
I'm going to call it now.
Okay, what's the other yes no that we're gonna have wrong?
Zero having a heel turn. It's already been set up hard. Okay, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, because I already marked the one about we'll see other agents that aren't they're from 1 through 6 because, well, Nox is number 4. Because yeah, that's already on the table. But I guess what we're going to see at the start of next year, thanks to the new poster.
What?
Agents is 3, 5, and 6. And they are being very explicit about it. Because there's the poster in the chat.
Oh boy.
My first thought looking at that is I wonder what the blank one's for. I wonder if it's for 1, if it's for 2, or if they're going to swerve us and it's for number 8.
Also, that's a 3rd driver.
Yeah, that I think it's technically a 4th driver, I think. I think I'm not.
The 2 you can clearly see look like, for 3 and 5, they look like the same driver, so I'm going to assume all 3 have the same driver.
Correct.
Which would put us at 3 drivers. Because I get the feeling that that's an attachment on Nox's. That's not an actual new driver.
Well, the panel can pop off the Zets driver, which is how we have Nox's not rider driver. That's just a panel swap.
That's why I'm kind of feeling like that's probably an attachment over top of it.
Yeah.
But also, I'm going to guess that it's safe to assume that he's probably not going to be antagonistic for much longer.
I would assume that's the case.
Because 3, 5, and 6 definitely look like they're going to build that antagonist role a little better.
I assume so. They're not exactly on terms after this week's episode, so I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I'm not necessarily meaning they're going to be buddy-buddy, but maybe more of a they're both fighting the same battle from different ends kind of concept.
Yeah.
Where if it came down to it, then yes, they would work together, but they're not going out of their way to work together. Because I could kind of see that dynamic working.
Granted, in 2 weeks, we do get Nox's rider form debuting. He's going to debut kicking the shit out of Zero, and I'm like, that's an interesting way to debut a new thing, kicking the shit out of the bike man who's done nothing.
Yeah, who's done quote-unquote nothing.
Well, nothing physical. I don't know if he can actually fight. Like, he wielded the sword once, but he only used it to just be like, I don't like you. Stop interfering. Bye. So I don't know what the hell Zero's even capable of. Of course, now that I'm thinking about it, especially because they specifically give him one of the things. Are we going to have a time where Bike Man becomes a rider?
I doubt it. If we do, it's going to be a la Vault kind of concept.
Yeah.
But I kind of doubt it.
But I'm thankfully enjoying the show. Even if they've decided that the live stream now, you cannot rewind it, so you have to either catch the episode as it starts or just kind of like pull it up and wait for when the episode starts. Watch it in full. I think twice now, like the last 2 weeks, I've basically pulled it up, went like, oh, we're in the middle of the episode. Mute. Wait. Do something else while I wait.
The last few weeks, I've just been waiting on the VOD to go up, kind of deal.
Yeah, I honestly should just do that.
Because they've been posting it on Mondays, and I'm like, or I think late Sunday, actually.
And I'm like, started posting it.
I'm fine with waiting and just being able to watch it on my terms then.
Yeah, I think they've started posting it like late Sunday, which would probably work for me because it's just like, oh, yeah, by the time I want to sit down and watch it, it'd be up. But for those curious where we stand points-wise, I'm at negative 33. It's always at negative 38. I'm winning for now.
Which has happened a good bit.
Yeah. I'll be winning for a bit, and then I'll just lose. And then it's just, well, bad at this.
7 hours ago, by the way, when they posted it.
Ah, okay.
I was thinking it was like afternoon.
Of course, I'm staring at my 5-point predictions, and I'm like, I'm about to get screwed on that middle one. I'm almost willing to bet I am, because that Ain's Girls Remix episode is supposed to be the last of them. Which, unless they do a tie-in after that episode premieres or the week that episode premieres on TTFC, there will be no Girls Remix to do the crossover material for. Which is great. Just dumpstered that time. Also, I don't know if I'm willing to count that first one for like this last week. Because that's technically not how that worked. with plasma.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm in between. Because I don't think that was necessarily how either one of us placed how you worded that one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it actually kind of was. So I'm like, eh?
And he didn't even feel like trapped necessarily. He just was like, well, I'm on a mission, and kind of ended up in the void real quick and then got out and was just in Nox's dream for the rest of the 2 episodes. Like,
That's
even popped into the...
That's why I'm like, I don't think that was actually how we were expecting it, but at the time, was...
Like, he popped into the office this week to drop off his phone and then go back. So I'm like, okay, you're not trapped. So this doesn't count. You just voided yourself for a hot second and then was not voided.
Yeah.
The spirit of the answer is not correct, so it does not count.
I think I would be fine if it came down to we don't get it proper in the show, us counting that as like a half kind of deal.
Yeah. If it comes down to it, it'll get like a 2.5 at the end. But if not...
Because that's that weird... I feel like that one's probably close enough to kind of squint and say, yes, that's right. But at the same time, I'm with you. That's not really either. So that's that. Yeah, if we don't get an actual for that, then I say we count that as half right out the rip then.
I'm probably going to lose points on nightmares because we're at 8 nightmares already. But I'm like, oh boy, we're only like a quarter of the show done. And they're still throwing nightmares at us, especially because they're like, oh, we can just make a big CG one. That counts. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
I wasn't thinking about that either. I'm like,
we've gotten 2.
Crap.
We've gotten 2 big dumb CGI nightmares, and I'm like, oh no, they could just pull one of these out every like 5 episodes and then just redo nightmare suits a little bit here and there to make more. Fuck.
Like, at this point, the only hope for you not to be completely screwed on it is if they come back after this break and downplay us actually fighting the nightmares a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen right out the gate, though.
No.
I think we're probably going to be going to probably the next upgrade with dealing with nightmares, and then it'll start downplaying harder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the nightmares are going to be gone until Final Form debut, though. I think it'll be post that will probably be the final number for it.
I'm just trying to remember like toy stuff at this point. I'm like, I feel like I've seen not necessarily a description, but like, hey, here's the final form. It's coming at the usual time, but no real description of it. Also, I feel like I haven't seen anything for more than like 2 riders, basically, in terms of major stuff. There might only be Zets and Ox. There might be a third. There might be a third, but I think it's kept going back and forth on whether or not we are getting a third. So it's like, oh, we might just only have 2 people. Like 2 riders, technically. Everyone else will just be like basically Nox Knight or equivalent, or probably in a movie. which feels weird for the Takashi written episode or written shows. He likes all his writers. It also feel weird because it's like, well, breaking Reiwa tradition that it felt like we were establishing again by having like a core trio be the or core trio of writers be the center of the show, and like we were having that until this show, possibly, once they slam a belt on Nem because she's third in this show, basically.
I could see that though, because honestly, that would kind of also fit with what we've had a lot of.
Yeah, Gav over here being like, we don't have a female writer, and everyone went, we could use one, even though everybody says that she just did really good at by not being a writer. And it's like, well, unless they just threw a belt on someone, there was no point in it. Granted, if they had the other twin survive, we would have had a female writer by the end of the show, since the one twin slammed on the Bitter Cap belt to beat Bitter Cap for a minute. Oh, God. I can't wait for this show to somehow have, here's this writer form that's basically a goon, more or less. Because Gotchard had Dread, and then Gav had Bitter Gav. And I'm like, all right, what writer are we just going to pass around and it's going to job out to someone for like a couple weeks? That feels like it's going to happen to something. I guess any other thoughts on that?
No, because I mean everything else I think we've still got potential for. Just looking at everything that both of us have, and I'm like, I'm with you. I can't wait for your middle prediction to end up just face planning.
Just where they're like, all right, we're done with this, and I'm like, God damn it. Oh.
Granted,
I mean,
I think a lot of your full predictions turn into stuff that you are really wanting, but is definitely not going to happen too.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like, because I'm enjoying Girls Remix, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's good that they don't try to shove fucking like Ainz or somebody in the middle of an episode for no goddamn reason. Just to like writer kick somebody and be like, come check out our TTFC special this week. Bye. Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, it would kind of be nice to have, like, maybe in a case like this, having the new writer just kind of being there and maybe making an offhand comment about, oh, that's such and such writer. It don't even have to be the main. It could be the secondary at that time. That way it's kind of one of those, yeah, this one knows about that one. Find out more about this one. Because we used to have that stuff.
Yeah, because we had the winter crossover films where they did that. But then they apparently stopped making money, so they stopped making them. Which, like, fair, but also those were the good ones, as opposed to the summer crossover films, which also they stopped making because they stopped making money, but also were bad. Which I think is part of the reason why the winter crossover films weren't making money, is because why wait until the winter to see two shows crossover when the summer one has everybody again and again and again and again?
And a degrading plot again and again and again and again.
Yeah, at least the winter films gave like an epilogue and a little extra episode basically to like the Warner crossover and had the two sides team up. Even if they didn't team up till the end, that was fine because the other parts of the movie were still good. Because I know people complain that like, oh, they don't cross over till the end, and I'm like, yeah, they don't. But everything before that's still good. So why are you complaining? Even when they did cross over, they were still doing as separate parts of the movie, and they were still subsection off. That was how all the Winter films were formatted. They were good at it. And now we don't get them anymore. I'm a little sad about it.
Which, I mean, granted, to say they were all good would make you have to look at everything pertaining to Ghost. Because continuity-wise, none of that works.
I was about to say, I'll be honest, only like half of the first one of them they did was good, which was the double decade one. Only half of the one after that, which was the double O's one, was good, which again was the double part. O's Forza felt like the first actually fully good one of them from end to end. Forza Wizard was good for the most part. Wizard Gaim was fairly good. Gaim Ride was probably one of the better one of them.
Yeah.
Drive Ghost is a continuity minefield and is not worth watching really, because you're just gonna be at the end of it going, what the fuck? What do you mean that Shinosuke and Kiriko have to have two weddings because of this singular movie? Ghost X8 is good, at least. But it's after Ghost, so it can't fuck up continuity.
I beg to differ, because I'm pretty sure that we even decided that one broke continuity a little bit with Ghost too. Because there's nothing external Ghost-wise that is purely in continuity without having some kind of a screw-up.
True. X8 build was good, even though it had some head-ass setup to get to it. From the end of... Oh god, was it the end of... Yeah, the end of X8. And... like a part of build to make some head-ass ways to make it happen for no good reason. Field Geo is Geo nonsense. And the Geo 01 is still Geo nonsense, even though the 01 stuff in there is still good. There was no 01 Saber, but there was Saber Revice. I'm sure you don't even remember Saber Revice, because I barely remember Saber Revice.
I don't even think I watched it.
It was certainly their attempt to slam these two massive cast of writers together and try to have things everybody's doing, but it just doesn't work. And introduce their own movie exclusive writer that has nothing to do with either cast.
So what I'm hearing is Tyson film just done with 2 shows. Noted.
Basically. Revice Geats sure did throw a new Revice writer in there for nothing. And was mostly about, hey, here's some Ryuki writers randomly just because. And then Geats Gotchard. Yeah. Yep. And the Geats Gotchard was fine.
Again, I don't think I watched that one either.
You're not missing much outside of, hey, 3 of the Geats writers get turned into their writer Kemi forms, and then...
Oh, wait, no, I did watch that one. Never mind.
Okay. I was about to say, the 3 of them get turned into Kemis, and then the ghost of Ace's dead dog from, I think, his current life became the Geats Kemi.
As soon as you said that, I was just the immediate, oh yeah, I did watch that. Yeah, that's how forgettable that is.
The only noteworthy thing about that movie is that the J debuts in that movie.
Yeah, I can understand why they kind of decided to back away from them.
I know, because they ran out of steam after a while, but also like, granted, that was the most head-ass stupid decision. Just like, our secondary is going to debut in this movie, and then they make her ship Premium Bandai, and then everyone tossed a fit about it. And I'm like, yeah, this shouldn't have happened in the first place. I know, Grumple, female writer toy, but also fucking nut up. It's 2025. You can put that some bitch on the shelves and people will buy it. Anywho, should we talk about these Gaidens then?
Yes, we should.
All right, I forgot to put in the release info, but the first pair of these, the Zangetsu and Baron ones, came out April 22nd, 2015. Jin Hagania wrote the Zangetsu one. Nobuhiro Mori wrote the Baron one. And then for Duke and Zangetsu, Jin Hagania wrote the Duke one. Nobuhiro Mori wrote the Knuckle one. Those two came out November 11th, 2015. And if you're wondering why Duke and Knuckle, that's because they held a poll. And Duke and Knuckle won the poll to do the second ones. Trying to see if I can find the poll, because they did run a third poll, but they didn't end up making anything. I just remember Gaim was on the poll for the third round of V Cinemas. Would you have liked to seen a Gaiden Gaim?
I feel like that would kind of be a little redundant, but because I mean it would have to be post series.
Yeah,
because you couldn't do one in the middle of the series like what we've 3 of the 4 of these.
Mm-hmm.
All right on that.
Yes.
Yes, because the Duke one's before the Genesis driver, so yeah. So yeah. You kind of couldn't do one for Gaim middle of the series. That also, now that I just completely realized that I understand Knuckles' story has to be post-series, but why was that the only one that we did post-series?
I don't know. So here is the list of options coming out of Gaiden 2 for a potential Gaiden 3. Ryugen, Ridon, Kurakage, Bravo, Jam, Sigurd, Marika, Gaim.
Jam was on the poll.
Jam was on the first poll even.
What? Why?
Good question.
It's one of those moments of one of these things is not like the other. Wonder which one's not going to get done.
Which one of these is a glove shitto that doesn't deserve time and space? I will note, we did get a Grid-On Bravo series of short Gaiden specials that are post series, but that was like well after. So I'm going to assume I know your answer, but who would you have liked to have seen out of this list?
What was the list again? When you said Jam, I just completely was like, what the actual?
I'll just put it in the chat. Makes it
that
easier.
Works.
Yeah, it's Ryugen, Gridden, Kurakage, Bravo, Jam, Sigurd, Marika, Gaim. I assume you're taking Jam and tossing him in the bin where he
Jam's
belongs.
in the bin.
No. I kind of don't want to see a Ryugen one, especially since when this, it was technically a survey, not a poll, but when this went out, this would have been, after the second one came out. So we're like close to 2016. So Full Throttle would have already happened. So I'm like, I don't think we need a Ryugen one, honestly. I also kind of don't want to watch a Ryugen one.
I mean, the right answer is Sigurd and Marika.
Yeah.
Looking at the way they've structured these, though, honestly, the best, especially with the hindsight of now knowing about the Bravo and Gridden ones, I'm like, okay, if you took them off the table and left them for the little minis like that, I don't know, maybe like Gaim and Malika kind of deal. Maybe do a post-series one with some kind of a struggle that Kota's having to deal with.
I mean, I would say do the Gaim one, but it's secretly Mai becomes a rider one, because let's give her a belt since she's basically on par with Kota in terms of god power bullshit.
I mean, you could still have that happen as a case of maybe they both had to work together to try to solve this problem.
Exactly.
But yeah, looking at how they structured them, I kind of think those two. Because it seemed like we had one from each side for both of them. So that's where I'm like, okay, that would follow that.
Yeah, because I also feel like, well, what the fuck do you do with the Sigurd one? Have him be a dip asshole for like an hour or a half hour?
Well, so the problem with him is, yes, you could try to dive into his backstory a little bit more. But there's not a whole lot that you can do with a character that got killed off kind of early.
Yeah. And as we see from these Gaidens, his backstory is he was some thug.
Yeah. So we don't really have much else to work with.
At least Marika was a corporate spy. It's like, ooh, someone she wronged is coming after her and she has to go deal with it on her own because fucking Sengoku's not going to give her the time of day to deal with this. It is not his problem.
The other thing that kind of throws Kurakage out for me is he literally wasn't around long enough.
Yeah, like what?
What are you going to try to do?
Yeah, like Hase cameos in the Grid on Kurakage one or the Grid on Bravo one, but only as basically a ghost to say say hi to Jinochi and be like, "Here's your upgrade. Goodbye." Like that's all Hase does in those specials. So I'm like, yeah, you kind of can't do a standalone Kurakage one unless you want to make someone new Kurakage to have someone be Kurakage going forward. But why bother?
And Jam just does not need to be on this list.
No. I would rather have Mars and Kamuro on this list, which technically Kamuro's on this list because it's Jam. Fuck, I'll take a Bujin Gaim or a 15 V Cinema before I would accept a Jam one.
With these, I don't feel like we should ever have a villain rider.
Yeah.
This should be to at least push forward one of the main riders. I'm fine with Ryugen being in there, even though he was a complete and total jerk the entire show. He was a main rider, and it would be one of those, yes, you could still explore some of his backstory with a problem that even happened post-series. I wouldn't be against it. I just also, I'm with you, I don't feel like there's really anything else to really do.
Yeah. Like, if you want to do something with Ryugen, it has to be with everybody else involved, because him solo, It
at least have to be with at least another person, too.
Somebody's got to play off Michi so he doesn't go nutso again. Him solo does not work. That is the answer of the show. It's like, what happens when Michi decides to go solo? Oh, he goes a little crazy. He goes bad guy. Okay. Don't go solo anymore. Yeah, I thought I'd bring that up in relation to this, because I think it's also the only time they ever did this. They never did it for any of the other shows when they were doing V-Cinemas like this. Granted, none of the other shows had a large enough cast to support a survey like this.
Yeah, because it really isn't until we started getting like Saber onward. Because, I mean, even X-Side, yes, it had a bigger cast, but not enough to justify something like this.
Yeah, and even when they decided to do the V-Cinemas, they just said outright, yeah, we're doing a trilogy of V-Cinemas. Here's a Paradox Poppy one. Here's a Brave Snipe one. Here's the Get 'em Laser one as a trilogy. So I'm pretty sure they announced from the beginning who was getting a V-Cinema. And it's like, oh, hey, cool, Poppy got a thing. And then Poppy has to play second fiddle to Paradox the entire time. Because that visa is more about Paradox than it is Poppy, unfortunately.
Right.
Yep. And of course, Dan is the overarching villain of it all, because of course he is. What part of man is villain of this series does no one understand? It's like looking at 01 going, yeah, no, guy should get put in the dumpster. He's responsible for everything. No wonder him and Dan get along so well. They're two peas of a pod. Yeah, I guess any other thoughts on these before we get into recaps?
No.
All right, then we shall kick off with Zangetsu Gaiden. We're just after when Takatora told Kota about the nature of Helheim and all that, and proceeded to be like, don't cross us, don't get involved, or I will put you down, and walked away. And Kota's like,
I do like the fact that we actually got the cut back from the show to where it kind of actually lets you know exactly where this took place.
Yeah. But after this, a mysterious figure hops out of a crack and attacks a couple of Kurakage troopers. And after Takatora and Sigurd investigate, and by investigate, I mean Takatora investigates, Sigurd's just like, that shit happens. All right, cool. Sigurd through all of these is just like, whoa, shit's happening. I'm not getting paid enough to deal with this shit.
I mean, he's not wrong.
But I nope. But Takatora thinks it's Kota. Spoilers, it's not Kota. Kota is sir not appearing in this V cinema. Hell, he is sir not appearing in any of these until like a little bit of the Baron one, and that was it. I think technically Mai has more screen time than Kota in across all 4 of these.
Yes.
But yeah, after Takatoura heads home, he meets an old maid of his family by the name of Toka Atsutsi. They kind of had a thing. She made a terrible apple pie. He liked it. So they kind of have... They're basically giving Takatoura someone that he could have maybe fell in love with, but circumstances pulled them apart, and oops, spoilers, she's the bad guy.
I do have to say they did a lot better of a job of not broadcasting that completely out of the gate.
Yeah.
One of those, it
Like,
does kind of leave that suspense of, is she or isn't she kind of deal? And then, no, she is.
Hell, I don't think we get a proper look at Idun until more or less Marika fights her. And even then, it's still only glimpses. We don't see Idun in full until her and Takatoura have at it.
It's shadowed enough that, honestly, I thought it was the jam suit, not a recolored version of it.
With the new helmet. Anywho, after this, Sid gets attacked and gets dumpstered. Takatoura and Toga continue to have a thing. Minato heads to Yggdrasil the next day. She gets attacked. But again, this person escapes. Sengoku is like, hey, Takatoura, you lost that Suika Lock seed. Here's another one, except it's a prototype and not the same thing. Don't worry about it. I'm sure you'll be fine with it.
And I kind of hate the fact that it's another Suika one, but it actually just flat out says watermelon when he uses it, because we had to play off of melon.
Basically. Yeah, eventually Takatoura is attacked at his home. Him and Michi get attacked. His energy lock seed gets stolen, so he cannot be that for a hot minute. That's when Takatoura finds out about this Zawame Child Development Institution, where basically Zawame pulled in a bunch of orphans and turned them into researchers and the like, and if they didn't turn out, well, they got to be experimental subjects. Toga was one of them.
They became leaders, researchers, or spies. Let that one sink in when we get a little farther in here.
Yeah. As it turns out, Toka was a part of this, a part of the human experimentation part of this. And also, by the way, she murdered Takatora's dad, because that's why she showed up in here in the first place. Do you recognize Takatora's dad?
Yep. I
was like, hi, Tara, how you doing?
I was like, huh, wow.
This is the third different Tokusatsu show where he plays the father to a main character. Only two of them only two of them where he's an asshole. One of them is actually a good person. Thanks, Jeed. He is actually a good, decent person in G because he's Jeed's dad. Well, he's not Ultra dad. Don't worry about that part. Also, I think his Jeed role was one of his last ones because he unfortunately passed away, I think like a few years ago. But yeah, it was nice that he at least got to play a Toku dad that wasn't shitty once. But yeah, Toko's had her revenge against Takatora's dad, but she's like, no, all the Kurishimas have to die. You, your brother, and all of you still needs to burn. Thus we finally see Idun. How do you like Idun?
Meh.
Fair. It is basically like slightly different Mars in a lot of respects.
It is Jam 2.0.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, her and Takatora fight. Takatora uses his new watermelon form, which is basically his regular melon arms, except his shield now has a Gatling gun bolted onto the end of it.
Which is the smartest yet dumbest idea all at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like Sengoku threw this together overnight and it was just like, oh, I'm just going to throw this together, see what the fuck happens. I don't care. Takatora will take it. He trusts me. If it blows up, it blows up. Who cares?
If it kills him, that's one less person I've got to fight.
Hey, if it kills him, hey, he knew the risk. It's not my fault. He used it. Yeah, Takatora eventually beats back Idun, gets his energy lock seed back, goes Shin Zangetsu, beats Idun, does not kill her because he's like, I'm letting you go to show mercy, and then walks off. Unfortunately, this Ringo, technically is what it's called, lock seed, does corrupt you, and as we will see, well, actually, no, technically not, but it technically corrupts you and tries to turn you into an invest, basically. Or turns you into a ghost. We'll get there. But this is where
it basically changes
like, oh.
you. Because we actually get to both of those points.
But yeah, Sengoku now shows up. He's like, oh, hey, I was wondering where that lock seed went. That's like the other one I made that kills you. I'm gonna need that back. Don't worry, you won't live long enough for it to matter. And then kills her and then takes it.
He also drops the little fact that he was also from the same institute.
Yep.
Again,
yeah, then
let that sink in when we get a little farther in.
Yeah, then Takatora heads home. Him and Michi have a conversation that basically foreshadows how their relationship is going to end at the start of the show later on.
Yeah.
But Michi being like, I will do whatever it takes for my loved ones. Takatora's like, all right, cool. And that is the Zangetsu Gaiden in like a half hour, because bear in mind, 2 of these together is about an hour. So these are more or less an episode. But now, Baron Gaiden. So we're right around where Kaito's searching for the overlords and hasn't found them. And apparently it's the day his dad died. Because Sengoku's like, hey, this is a sore spot for you, right? Hey, I feel like poking you today. Are you going to react? Are you going to do something? I'm bored. Because I feel like that's exactly why he did it.
Yeah.
But then we see this guy this kid named Shapul, who looks exactly like Kaito. Spoilers, it's played by Kaito's actor, so he gets to basically do hammy bullshit for this entire episode. It's the entire point of this. Because he sees a video of Kaito and he's like, ooh, person who could take my place. I'm gonna go drug him and take his clothes. So yeah, he goes in Kaito's place and dances for a bit and goes to Charmont and has cake with Mai because he just drags Mai along on this. And I love how both Kota and Mai just are like, all right, fucking this is happening. Or even they even try to do Baron's dance, but it's clear that they don't know the dance. But meanwhile, Kaito's found by this Shapul's butler and some other guys, and they try to take him in. They eventually just tase him. We find out that, okay, they explicitly say that this guy is trying to get this kid killed for his dad so that he can eventually take over this foundation.
Yeah.
They do not say the other letter. So this is technically not a Foundation X plot. But to be honest, I feel like Foundation X people.
Okay. Never explicitly stated. But considering they're wanting enough drivers to do probably not so legal things, yeah.
This is Foundation X, but not said to be Foundation X, which continues by the whole thing of like, you can just insert Foundation X wherever you want and it's fine. You're not going to break continuity in any major way.
Well, yeah, because I mean,
they just need to show up.
Never has been a full-on villain, so
yeah,
Foundation X can be everywhere.
They're just a group of arms dealers and investors. All you have to do is just be like, oh, they invested money or something, or they paid this person to do a thing. That's it. That breaks nothing. That's why I'm like, yeah, no, they invested in Yggdrasil quietly without anyone noticing. Anywho, Kaito eventually finds this out. He escapes. He finds this kid, drags him off, drops his backstory of, his dad sold out the factory and then got drunk and abusive and then committed suicide. And that sucks. But then, like, the butler gets a Genesis driver and the not Dragon Fruits lock seed from the movie. Nope, this is a completely different one. It says so on the lock seed. It's a completely different one. Promise. So the butler becomes tyrant. Kaito fights him as Baron. He does well enough, but the Lockseed corrupts him and turns him into a not overlord. And then Yoko shows up with the Ringo Lockseed, tosses it to Baron. Baron uses it, doesn't get corrupted by it, but then blows up the not overlord and then breaks the Lockseed because he didn't like it. So, must preserve continuity. Chappelle heads back to whatever. Yeah, so Chappelle heads back to whatever country he's from because they don't say where he's from. They just are like, he's from a foreign country. And then Kaito drops off some flowers at his parents' tomb, and we end with a little like foreshadowing of him becoming Lord Baron at the end of the show. And that's the Baron v Cinema. I'll be honest, this felt like the worst of the batch.
Yeah.
Like the Zangetsu one, okay, cool. We try to give Takatoru a little bit of something. It doesn't really work, but it's something. Here, it's like Kaito's actor just gets to fuck about for like a half hour worth of filming, and that's about it.
The Zangetsu one works a lot better too because it sets up a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, yeah, I mean, neither one of these really did a whole great deal kind of deal.
Yeah, even this Sparrow one, I'm just like, ooh, Foundation X possibility. I'm like, I have to headcanon that shit because that's not real.
And
because otherwise, this is nothing.
And I'm going to throw the Duke one into this too, even though we haven't talked about it. But the problem that these three have is the fact that they have to end the V Cinema with us being right back to square zero.
Yeah.
So anything that happens in it really can't change the character a lot, or then it doesn't make sense in the confines of the show then.
Yeah, we even have to kill the new writer we introduced, which is like, well, you can't exist after this, bye.
Yeah.
Because Eden's got to go poof, and then Tyrant has to mutate and then go poof as well, which, I'll be honest, Tyrant is probably the most forgettable new writer out of all four of these.
Yeah.
And I say that knowing full well the fourth one has a damn Black Reap ain't a Baron. Tyrant is still more forgettable.
Like, cool design, I'll give it that, but that's about it.
At least it's like, this is where that Dragon Fruit's energy lock seed technically came from when Sugoku showed back up in full throttle. It's a perfected version of it that does not fuck him over.
Maybe.
Because he pawned it off on someone to test it.
Which is 100% like him, so.
Yeah. Yeah, any other thoughts before we hit the other two?
No.
All right, then. Duke Gaiden, that I actually had to do notes for because for some reason, they had full write-ups for all of the other V cinemas on the Writer Wiki, but this one. They have like 2 paragraphs, but I honestly feel like those 2 paragraphs still sum up this movie.
Yeah, probably.
So Sengoku flashes back to when Takatora first tested and got injured, and he's like, "You will save the world" and stuff. And then we cut to where we're currently at in the show, which is some point after Wizard Gaim, but before the Genesis drivers got properly made, basically. It's in that nebulous time period right there. At least that's what the Writer Wiki says. And I'm like, yeah, because the energy lock seeds are there at the end of that movie. But it takes like a couple episodes for them to show up in person. But yeah, some rando's here to blow up Sengoku with a lock seed. Minato does save him by kicking him out a window, and he blows up in the giant cavity that the building has. Takatora drops by to be like, Sengoku, what the fuck's up with someone trying to kill you today? And Sengoku's like, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. It's fine. Totally. And then we find out that this lock seed that almost blew him up, he doesn't recognize and he didn't make. And I was like, nope, you're totally angry about this because somebody else made bullshit. Only you're allowed to make lock seeds. That's your whole sticky point this entire movie. But yeah, okay. Am I the only one that thinks Minato's intro in this scene is so dumb? Because she's rappelling down the side of this apartment building to get into this one dude's apartment, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they wouldn't let her in the front door.
Just... Who? No one's there. It can't be the cops. They're on the payroll.
Look,
they kind of established that in the show.
Look, it's to give the segue to show that she was a spy. But not a spy that came from the institute that we set up at the beginning.
No, she's just a regular corporate spy that tried to steal data from Sengoku for nebulous reasons, and then Sengoku caught her, and he was just like, join my team, do crime, let's do crime. And she was like, all right, cool, sure. I love that that is his entire pitch to the both of them. It's just like, hey, you want to join my team and do crime?
I still feel like with her it would have been better to have had her be part of the institute too, because that could have gave him a better in to talk her into helping him.
Yeah, besides just, hey, you want to do crime? We could do Uber crime.
I'm just sitting there. I'm like, you guys, you set this up. You literally had a line to set this up, and then you fall flat on your face and don't bother to set it up. And it's like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's sleuthing around the place. Finds the ghost, a ghosty person, and a half-busted Ringo lock seed, the one from the other 2 specials. Sengoku's walking about with this later and tells Takatora, is like, yeah, no, the guy before me, he tried testing this lock seed and he went poof. It's probably him, as we see him across the street, and Sengoku runs after him, and the guy was like, hi, Sengoku, you want to join my team and do crime? No, then get blown up by these 12 people. Thankfully, Takatora saved him. This is also where we get the backstory that Sid was a thug, that Sengoku was like, you want to do Uber crime? But eventually our trio of people that are not Takatora collect the lock seeds that gets them the ghost hideout. So Sengoku and then Takatora following him go fight him. And this is where we get Sengoku's Sengoku driver version of Duke. For this one fight, and that's it.
Which doesn't look that much different than the Genesis driver version of Duke.
I forgot he has a big, dumb, pointy part of the helmet that's really tall.
I kept seeing that and I was like, why did they do that? That looks stupid.
I think I've cognitively blocked that out until I watched this and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why is there some big dumb pointy part of his helmet?
I
never saw that before.
I was able to not pay attention to that until they caught the side view shots. And then that's all you can see. And it's like, oh dear God.
But our ghost friend can also turn into a rider. He turns into Kamen Rider Savior using one of these pomegranate lock seats that doubles as a bomb and the blood orange lock seat from the movie for reasons.
Because they're both red.
Probably. Also, he's using the same configuration everyone else uses for the Jimba arms. And I was like, is Sengoku not going to tell him that that's a thing? Because Dr. was like, he's using things that we don't know. And I'm like, is Sengoku not going to tell him?
Well, or probably not, because wasn't the attachment just a prototype? In show?
Probably. The one Sakura gave Kota, yes, I think so.
So he might not have considered it finished enough to be able to be used for anything.
Yeah.
Because I know he also was a little aggravated that, you know, our Ghost Rider here, that sounded a lot cooler than he actually is. That's why I stopped there. Yeah. I'm like, huh. Is using a sonic arrow, so.
But a black sonic arrow, so it's a different kind of sonic arrow. I think also talked to her was like he's using weapons as well we don't recognize. I'm like, again, Sengoku, did you not tell him
that one's clearly not
in the near future? But yeah, they blow him up and they leave, and it seems like it's all done until Sengoku makes the Genesis drivers and the energy lock seats, and then he goes back going, I knew you weren't really dead, so I'm gonna kill you for realsies this time with my new stuff. And then does so. And then we end with Kudo giving the villain for this next one his like blank version of the banana lock seat to transition us to the next one.
Which is the only thing that ties those two together.
Yep, because it's now time for the Knuckle Gaiden. Because we're now post-series where Zack has woken up and he's not dead. Basically here, I'll be honest, I skimmed through this one because by this time, after watching these back to back, I was done. Because I'll be honest, I don't even remember who the girl is related to. Isn't she like Pekko's sister?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was like, I assume you're Pekko's sister, but I do not care enough to remember. Because like Repose series, Zack's like, I'm going to go chase my dream of being a dancer in America, and fucks off to America and leaves Pekko in charge of Team Baron. Oh no, new villain showed up, took over Baron, turned it into Neo Baron, and started being a dipshit. So Zack has to come back into town to solve the problem. He shows up, fights a guy, does well and wins to like free Pekko, but Pekko's like, no, I'm not leaving. I kind of want to be here because I'm bad at this. Why did you leave me in charge? Which is an accurate statement. Zack, why did you leave Pekko in charge?
Sounded like a good idea.
Man is the third named character of this team. And clearly has been fucking number 2 to everybody in this gang. How did you think he was going to lead? But yeah, then Orin and Janoshi showed up to get Zack out. Orin just whips all these kids' ass because it's fucking Orin. What are they honestly gonna do against him? The man is military trained. He's gonna fucking eat all them for lunch. But then as they escape, some Kurakage show up, try to attack him, but then Michi fights them all off. And then he's like, hey, I got you a new Sengoku driver and your lock seed and an energy lock seed because I figured Kaito's Genesis driver was broken. So we made this. And if you're wondering, how the fuck did they get... Yeah, if you're wondering, how the fuck do they have lock seeds? Reminder, this is technically after Full Throttle. So, Coda probably... That's what I would assume. This is the only reason they have lock seeds again.
Except for in the final episode of the show, it was made clear that they had no means of making a driver.
At the moment, they could eventually, but not at the moment. But yeah, they could. But again, they can make Sengoku drivers, but they can't make a Genesis driver again. So he's like, you have to use Kaito's. It's like, well, Kaito's is broken. It's like, oh, oops, oh well. So Zack goes and it fights villain guy, who apparently found the blueprints for the savior system for for Yggdrasil Tower. Was going to use it to kill a whole bunch of people that were not on his team. But this guy becomes Black Baron, which is just the black paint of Baron. Knuckle fights him for a bit, is losing, but then Peko shows up with the core bit of the Genesis driver because I guess the kill switch doesn't kill that part. That feels like a design oversight on Sengoku's part.
Actually, yeah, it really kind of is because we are talking about presumably a Sengoku that would have made that Genesis driver in particular after knowing about Kota being able to use Jimba forms.
Yep. But yeah, Zack tosses Zack the core. So now he can go Jimba Marin, and we basically get a Jimba form that doesn't use a Sonic Arrow. Instead, it uses a big giant like sea mine Knuckles split in half that then transition into repainted Sugozo Knuckles. Yes, those are literally the Knuckles from Sugozo. Honestly, I prefer them with the Sugozo ones because the other ones look too big and unwieldy.
I mean, yeah.
But Zack beats this guy. He goes boom. Zack passes out. And then later, or while he's asleep, he gets visited by Kaito's ghost. The two of them dance, and then Kaito's like, all right, you're cool. You've got this down. And just poofs while Zack dances, and that's how we end this V-Cinema. So how do you feel about our other two?
Meh.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we have a second Rider Post series now.
Yay!
It's a shame that we're not going to do anything with that.
Yeah, no, he is sir not appearing at any other point past this. But you do get Grid and Bravo as writers after this. Because those specials were like 2021, I think. God, when did those specials even air? No, 2020. The end of 2020 was when the Knuckle and or the Grid and Bravo ones were. But yeah, these are all fine. They're all ultimately fine. It's just a range of to, well, I could have watched something better today. I guess any other thoughts?
No.
All right. I think in 2 weeks for TGSR, when we get into it in the new year, we're gonna spin the wheel of adaptation. You know what? I could spin the wheel now and find out what we're doing in 2 weeks.
I mean, that could be helpful.
Yeah, let me pull it up. Eventually, come on, site. Load the part so I can click the button. It hasn't loaded the side where it is. Yep, oh, almost there. All right. I will spin. I forgot how long I made this.
Guess you made it 5 long.
Mm-hmm. Oh dear. So, you know how you liked Bonanza?
Oh boy.
So for Wheel of Adaptation, it has decreed that we have to watch 4 episodes of the Donkey Kong Country animated series.
Oh boy.
There could be worse things on this list specifically. Unless you want to take a spin and end up with a better option.
Sure.
You need the link for it. Okay, there's the mile-long link, unfortunately. Because the link must include everything that is on the wheel. I feel like there was something recent video game show-wise that I wanted to add to this list, but I forgot. This is specifically supposed to be shows, not movies. So, like, the Sonic movies are not on this list.
God, you did make me feel on forever.
Yes. It's to build anticipation.
Well, not gonna say better, but it's different. Because I feel like you said that this one wasn't, but I could be wrong. So, Persona 4 the animation.
That is a good one.
It is? Okay.
That is.
I knew there was one of them.
Yes,
like,
that is.
eh.
Okay, so original Persona 4 the animation, good. Persona 4 Golden, it's a weird kind of pseudo sequel to the Persona 4 animation because it's like a new game plus run of Persona 4, but it's only really focused on all the exclusive Golden content, so it's not really something you should watch on its own. Even then, it's not particularly good. Persona 5 is trash. That Persona 5 anime is trash. Do not watch a Persona 5 anime. It is garbage.
Yet someone has it on the.
Look, there has to be a mix of good and trash on the wheel. Otherwise, what's the point of spinning the wheel if we don't accidentally end up on trash every now and again?
So, I know how this is gonna go. So, which one of these two are we doing first?
do you want to get the trash out of the way, or do you want the good thing and then do the trash?
Don't matter.
Okay, so you know what? We'll do it in the order we spun them. So we'll get the dumb one out of the way. We'll watch 4 episodes of Donkey Kong Country, and then I think it's technically only 2 episodes of Persona 5 the anime, because I think they're hour-long episodes. I might be wrong. I have to
Persona
go
4.
Relook that up.
You said 5.
Oh yeah, Persona. Yeah, no, yeah, right. Persona 4 the anime. I'm stupid. Not gonna give me a runtime. Wiki, please. No. Of course not. Fine, then I'll have to go look up the show itself. But yeah. So we have a nice little 2-week buffer before we do something else that's on the list of things to do that I have. Maybe I'll decide on something then, since you technically did Gaim.
Also, putting that in.
Good, that's
so
in there.
don't forget.
Good, because I'll probably forget to. The good news is the Donkey Kong Country show is on YouTube for free, officially, I think. That or no one cares enough to go take it down.
Probably the latter.
Fair. I'm pretty sure Nintendo doesn't even remember that they've made that fucking show.
I don't think Nintendo made that show. I think they contracted it out and just hoped that it didn't suck.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll be the next 2 TGSRs between now and those respective shows. Thursday, we're going to try to finish up the Gouchard Kemi. I might work on it a little bit before then, because we're going to be making some slow progress through stuff I did last week to kind of get it to where I want it. That'll be Thursday. Friday and Saturday, it is our 6-game archipelago to end the year on. Unfortunately, I do not have the opportunity of doing the Almost Christmas Means It Wasn't Christmas line for Christmas Eve. Shame. Granted, I didn't make it last year either, so it doesn't matter. And then next Sunday will be our last TGS for the year, where we get to talk about Expedition 33 in a not great way. Yay!
That's on point.
Yeah. And like I said, in 2 weeks, it'll be Donkey Kong Country. And then 2 weeks after that will be Persona 4 the animation. So if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Exclamation point. YouTube Jack is YouTube archive for this and all our other streams. Exclamation point. Social and Jack is the handles for all our social medias. And exclamation point. Discord and Jack is there's link. Drop by. Say hi. See you Thursday, folks.